Okay, today's predictions. It's Sunday. I believe it's September 10th or 11th, 2017. And my name is Leslie Williams. I'm going to Bonds today and Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, both businesses being off of Governor Road and Genesee Avenue. And I'll also be going to Carl's Jr. That is like a block and a half away from those two physical locations. We're going to see if any event transpires towards me today. That means all walking routes, bus stops, bus routes, MTS. Okay, that absolutely includes MTS bus station at UTC. Now, we're going to see if my tape recorder picks up anybody saying gang stalk, gang stalking, stalk, stalkers, suck my DICK, suck on the DICK, suck the DICK. This is literally what they're doing around a specific target individual here in San Diego, California. Now, my tape recorder will pick it up if it's said. Okay, we're going to see if any event happens that causes me to be banned from the entire plaza where Vons and Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf is at, and or either one of these businesses, including Rite Aid. We're also going to see if anybody approaches me as I am walking anywhere today between businesses and where I lock up my bike at. We're going to see if they damage my bike and concerning any function of it, tires, gears, brakes, chain, lock, axle, any function of the bike, okay, including the bike lock and or steal it. We're going to see if anybody approaches me at any place that while I am locking up my bike, while I'm in any checkout lane, okay, while I'm in any department in any store, and while I'm in any bathroom of any place I go to today. Now, you can go to Google and research gang stalking staged events, which are called street theaters. And when they stage events, they will stage the witnesses. That way, the police can say, "Well, look, everybody's saying that it was you, Leslie," and they won't stick around to listen to any evidence because they'll claim they got a call. Or when you play them the evidence, they'll claim they can't hear it correctly. Absolutely. And you know what they're also doing with gang stalking victims? They're rotating cops. Okay, that's been my complete experience as of today's date. As of today's date, this has been my complete experience that they're rotating cops every time the cops are called, no matter who calls them. That way, because if the same police officer keeps violating your constitutional and civil rights, if the same police officers keep refusing to make a police report, then it's going to look outwardly transparent that this police officer is involved in intentional criminality and intentional gross negligence of duty. But another reason why they might be rotating police officers is because that way they can have a bunch of different police officers file the same type of themed, falsified report. Subject is probably crazy, has issues, and so on and so forth. That way, when the target's finally brought before the court, all this different documentation from different police officers, they can try and claim, well, I don't know, this police officer is saying that you got issues, and this other police report saying you got issues, and this other one saying that you got issues, and so on. But also, though, understand some of their thinking can be worked along the lines that if they keep using the same ones, even if it's just for two events, they could bring that police officer who has been in the target's physical presence before, they can bring them back on a current situation, a current staged event, and they can say, well, you thought this last situation was because of gang stalking. Now you think this one is because of gang stalking. So we better take you somewhere and get you some help. You see how the shit works? Okay? Because at the end of you can go to Google and type in police and gang stalking, falsified police reports and gang stalking, falsified incident reports and gang stalking. You can also research coffee shops and gang stalking, grocery stores and gang stalking, security guards of business plazas and gang stalking, and public transportation services and gang stalking. It is an organized crime syndicate up and operating within the system. And because of the way gang stalking operates in reference to operating on a, but not limited to, template of protocols, methods, tactics, maneuvers, they basically just track the target in real time in order to be able to prop up the overt harassment around the target and the direct harassment and the staged events. And when they stage events, they will stage the witnesses. Now, you got to also consider when you look on the internet, you see all the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. There's tens of thousands of victims. In fact, it's already been estimated and exposed on national radio show that there's anywhere between 2.4 and 4.8 target individuals of this crime in America right now. And that's the ones who probably know they're being gang stalked. That's not the ones who don't know. So when you see also this crime is happening almost in the same exact identical to a T way to other victims in multiple other countries, we can obviously deduce that this crime is operating on, perpetrated by the systems and operating through a template of methods. Okay. So, and when you really think about it, what I'm really saying here, say if you just had tens of thousands of victims in America, right? And they're all sharing almost identical stories in reference to sensitization methods being employed against them, their homes being broken into, the police's involvement in this crime, the doctor's involvement in this crime, the court's involvement in this crime. It's clearly able to be reasonably at least suspected, okay, that they are, because if they weren't, they would be investigating and prosecuting these crimes. Also, each one of these victims have never spoke to each other, yet they're all sharing almost the same exact identical to a T story. That's no accident either. Now, for instance, if you went to Google and typed in the name of any 10 well-known businesses to gang stalking, okay, look at what comes up. And then take those same 10 names or even 15 names and type them into gang stalking to 6 different states like New York, California, Florida, Texas, Michigan, and look at what comes up. Then do the same thing to 5 well-known universities, including all of the universities in California. Oh, absolutely. UC Davis, UCSD, UCLA, okay, UC Riverside. Do it, and you see I'm telling you the truth. And then when you do these things and you see what comes up, including the amount of Google generated responses that come up, okay, you'll clearly be able to deduce that the only way that something like this can be brought about and managed covertly, okay, and overly and at times directly executed, the only way something like this could be going on a huge scale that it is and being reported, okay, is that it's being done by the system and protected by the system. Okay, how can it that you can go to Google and type in the name of libraries in gang stalking, then universities in gang stalking, and then, okay, grocery stores in gang stalking, restaurants, movie theaters, and so on. Now, restaurants, movie theaters, and grocery stores are different types of businesses than libraries, which is government, and most of the universities, okay, and community colleges are also tax subsidized, meaning that they're paid for through tax dollars, meaning that they're controlled by the state. Excuse me. So, how can you have gang stalking going on at a library and gang stalking going on in universities, and then turn around and see gang stalking going on in the corporate industry, like grocery stores, retail stores, restaurants, and movie theaters? The only way something like that can be going on is up and through a operating networking syndicate, and the police's job is to protect it all and participate in it, including using the courts for it. Make no mistake about it. They'll come to it. After an incident occurs at a grocery store or a coffee shop, and you gotta. I was meaning earlier in my statements to segue into this. Think about this. If you got people all over the country, tens of thousands, which there are, they're all over the internet, okay, stating that people they don't know are harassing them, then obviously these people obviously, one, have to know where the target's at to do the harassment skits around a target, right? So how is that being done? Through illegal GPS tracking and covert physical surveillance, right? Multiple different people are harassing each target every day. Different people. Except for, like, the only time the same people are used is that if a target goes into, like, say, the same grocery store 3, 4, 5 times a week. Okay, or the same coffee shop 2, 3 times a week. The employees and management in that store will participate in it, but also people coming in and acting as customers will participate in it. So when you really research this, like when you go to YouTube and type in gang stalking bullying on steroids, that's a news broadcast. Okay, the guy clearly states he's harassed everywhere he goes, including at his own home. Right? Now, when you extensively research how many victims there are all over the internet, all of them are saying that people they do not know are harassing them every day, everywhere they go. Right? So if they're able to get all these different people to harass one target, different people every day, do you honestly think that they cannot get people to act as people who will complain about the target or accuse the target of something, staged events, and then stage the witnesses as well? Think about that. Because they're already using people for the harassment, including employment descriptions. So say if a person goes into a coffee shop or a grocery store, who in which that, like Starbucks, you can Google them to gang stalking. Bonds, Google them to gang stalking. So if they're already participating in this crime being exposed by multiple victims all over the country, consider that gang stalking operates on a template of methods, and staged events are part of their methods. And when they stage events, they will stage the witnesses. And since police are also all over the internet to be directly connected to this crime, they'll just come when they're called by whoever, the target or the perpetrators or the business employees or management, and they'll come and play their role. And their role is to make sure that the businesses stay protected, that the target is banned. They'll try and say, well, we have no power over any store banning you because it's their right. And then when you say, well, I know this whole event was because of gang stalking, they'll claim they don't know what it is. You try and explain it to them, and they're constantly interrupting you. And they'll try and say, well, I'm sorry, we don't have time for this. We got to go. We have more important we have more important calls. That's happened to me so many times, I can't count it on my hands, literally. Okay, and it's the same excuse every fucking time, every time. Also, if any event happens and I'm not able to record it in real time, if I deem that the situation is safe for me to get out my phone, okay, because sometimes they'll use social deviants and punks and criminals and lowlifes, and I don't really care to take out my phone while they're in my physical presence because they can try and grab it, okay? But the police also know that I got a phone. It was jammed right when the Marion Bear Park event occurred, which was predicted 22 hours before in a tweet. Okay, and then the phone miraculously becomes unjammed the very second the police left my physical presence. It was jammed for over 5 hours. Okay, and then the second they left, it was jammed that morning when I got up, was preparing to leave the park. Okay, and 15 minutes before I was literally physically getting up to leave the park, they arrived. Okay, and as soon as they literally walked out of my physical presence, the phone became unjammed. Do you think that's an accident? And it was predicted 22 hours before in a tweet. Okay? You know, so what I do in response to these lying, criminally demented, criminally insane animals, in which all of them are that participate in this crime are absolutely criminally insane, I'm mainly referring to the people that perpetrate this crime from behind the scene and the cops. I don't have no feelings at all for cops because they don't give two shits about what they do to you. They don't care about the property loss or the financial loss that you suffer because of this crime. They don't care about the assaults or the falsified arrests or the falsified police reports. They don't give two shits about nothing concerning what's happening to you at all. And they will participate in things happening to you, and which can produce effects and results, okay, that then also affect your finances and your future. So why the hell should I give two shits about exposing any cop that plays a role in this? They don't want them exposed, okay? And that's another reason why the escalation of the staged events and the staged complaints and accusations occur, because they feel that they can just ban you from every place you go to get your needs met. You'll be forced to move out of the community because everybody's got to eat, everybody's got to sleep. So they'll gang stalk you to where you live or where you camp out if they made you homeless. This is literally, okay, the deconstruction of the construction of gang stalking crimes pertaining to how they operate, okay? So my name is Leslie Williams. So this video actually applies for all stores, all Vons stores, two main locations, one off of Arabia Street and Regents Road in La Jolla, one off of Governor and Genesee. The Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf off of Governor Road in Genesee. Carl's Jr. off of Governor Road in Genesee Avenue. The Starbucks off of at UTC Plaza and at La Jolla Village Square Drive Plaza as well. Rite Aid, I might as well include them too because I'm literally subject to gang stalking, gaslighting everywhere I go. Okay, literally every day. It's completely disgusting and absolutely felonious, criminal to the extreme. Not a moment's peace every day, everywhere I go. Okay, and then you also have to be concerned about what's going to happen to you. So you're constantly anticipating, the body is constantly almost anticipating what's going to happen today, what's going to happen now, what's going to happen next, because of what they've done to you in the past as well. 6-stage assaults, the created homelessness that they put you in, the threats, including through text messages, the verbal threats, the types of people they'll prop up to approach you or to stand around you at bus stops, okay? To get a good idea about what type of anxiety can be produced as a result of people being intentionally propped up around you at bus stops and in stores and at bathrooms and stuff, go to YouTube and type in 2017 prank videos, prank. And watch enough of those videos until you see some videos of where people strangers are approaching other strangers and doing things, okay? And just research them until you find the ones where you will literally notice how people are normally in a healthy way, um, being afraid of why people are walking up to them and doing bizarre things to them. And I'm mostly referring to people walking up to targets and acting like they're talking into their sleeves and hand signaling and moving their arms and hands around. This is the crazy shit that these filthy maggots, which I've even heard exposed on a Coast to Coast AM radio show one time when gang stalking was being exposed on the show back in, it was either in March, April, or May 2015, Coast to Coast AM national radio show. Okay, the wife of a Homeland Security agent was on the show, and she was talking about gang stalking. And she said that people are being propped up around targets to do the most bizarre things, moving their arms and hands around, acting hyper, acting like they got issues. Now, when you're standing at a bus stop and you see a person who's definitely look like, they're down, completely down and out, and you never know why these people are down and out. Okay, and I have nothing against homeless people. I'm just trying to state that when you look at a homeless person who's intentionally trying to take care of themselves physically, then you can pretty much tell that this person is probably not involved in anything, okay, that is threatening to themselves or others. But when you see other ones that are like totally and completely bummed out, you have to wonder how they got that bad, okay? And so when those types of people are propped up around you, who will act like, even just their facial features and the way they're acting out visually, okay, and then the ones they prop up around you, they act hyper. It's done in order because they know that the body is sensing all this as they're standing next to you, and since they know you're being gang stalked, and since they know that they propped up people at bus stops before to harass you, then they know that the target will have to wonder: is this because of gang stalking? What could occur as a result? And that's the goal of it: to create anxiety, to create hypervigilance. Because the body constantly reacting to all this craziness every day, the nonstop mental harassment through the sensitization techniques, the nonstop being concerned about their physical safety, they know that's wearing the mind and body out and down. And that's what they want. That's one reason why they'd like to create events towards the end of the day, because they figured you've been battered all day long and your defense mechanisms are worn down by the end of the day, so you'll be more easily provoked. That's why they do what they do. That's why gang stalking, you can go to Google and type in gang stalking and psychological operations, because the whole goal for them is to use psychology against the target, to try and bait him to act out, verbally and or physically. Okay, and every business will deny they're involved in gang stalking. Every business will deny they even know what it is. Every cop will do the same thing, and the cops and the businesses and the libraries and the universities all work together because they're fucking protecting the tax dollars that these places generate to the tax base of that city and county. They're nothing but paid whores. It's all they are, and it's all they'll ever be, period. End of story. And I could give two shits about what anybody thinks concerning my statements. You be a gang stalking victim for over a decade at a time and see what type of mental posture you'll have, especially when you've been victimized by the police concerning this crime. And they'll lie about every bit of it. Absolutely. Do you really think they'll tell the truth? Okay. Do you really honestly think that these psycho maggots will ever tell the truth on any police report, any verbal statement in the presence of targets? No. But they will arrest the target after a staged event that they bring about in reference to the perpetrators, because the arrest is part of the event. All right, I got to go, San Diego, California. So let's see if I'm banned from any place today. Let's see if I'm arrested, ticketed, assaulted, any property damage or theft, any complaints, accusations, including bathrooms. Okay, absolutely. And my tape recorder is running right now. I literally got to go. Thank you for listening, everybody. This is a prediction video.